Hello everybody, welcome to the big match preview, fueled by Co-op, and Co-op are fueling my victory, and it is my victory against Tunisia. Right. Great win for the lads, wasn't it? Yeah, great win, and I enjoyed one of these pizzas before it, and you guys can as well. Great deal, right? 2 Co-op pizzas, 4 Budweisers, £5 in selected stores. Make sure you drink responsibly, but go out and get this deal, it's decent.
I thought they'd made a mistake and it was going to be pulled. Yeah. That's what I thought.
We're going to give you the lowdown on England versus Panama, talk about the lineups, a lot of changes that could be made by Gareth Southgate, talk about Panama, give our score predictions, and find a superstition for our boy Sam, who didn't have one last week.
I will now.
First of all, are we getting slightly carried away with the fact that, look, England won a game of football, but there's a long, long way to go? It seems like certainly this country has gone slightly too far.
No, what are you on about?
No?
What are you talking about?
No?
We just won a game in the World Cup. Firstly, we don't ever win the first game, and we did. Secondly, there's nothing wrong. Getting carried away is the wrong word. Yeah. Right? We are believing in our nation.
We're being realistic.
In our team's nation. We're being realistic with it as well, because what we've got is a bunch of very top-level professionals who are used to performing under pressure and used to winning things as well. Barring Harry Kane and Dele Alli and Trippier and Dyer. But do you know what I'm saying? These are elite professionals, so there's nothing to get carried away with.
I'm more than happy to get carried away.
Well, it feels like you've got...
Well, you got pretty carried away here.
Hey, turn this on me now.
Well,
it's on you.
I'm just saying, let's keep it calm. Right, let's talk about England's lineup before we talk about Panama and the people that you should be looking out for in that game. It could cause concern. It's the first ever game between Panama and England. And obviously it's the World Cup second game. After winning that first one, normally teams don't really want to change the players or the formation, but I actually think we should do both.
Ready.
Let's answer the first one in terms of formation. Should we stick with 3-5-2 or should we change it around?
Look, right, Gareth Southgate was bold enough to leave Jack Wilshere at home because he didn't think that he fitted his system. Do you really think he's going to then change his system after he wins the first game? Absolutely not. I don't know why he would.
My argument to this is that as the tournament progresses, we're going to be playing different sides that we're not going to dominate as much as Tunisia and Panama. This is the kind of last game that we should totally dominate possession, probably. So we're going to have different ways of finding a way to win a game. And isn't this a great opportunity to test one of those?
No, not the World Cup. The testing's done. The plan is in place. Let's see how it goes out. I want Southgate to be so convinced by what he's set up in this team that there's no need to change. We don't need to change the system to beat Panama.
If we are sticking with 3-5-2, the next question is the personnel, which is strange when you've won a game at 2-1, and overall I think people are saying it's a good performance. The first one that looks like is going to happen is Dele Alli. He's struggling with an injury. Who comes in for Dele Alli?
Loftus-Cheek,
yeah,
surely.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a logical decision. You could potentially put Rashford in there, but then you're going top heavy with a very, very attacking side. I think Loftus-Cheek came on against Tunisia and showed he was very, very composed, and that's probably why Southgate chose him over Wilshere, because it was one of them, and he chose Loftus-Cheek. So if he's chosen and put his faith in him to come on against Tunisia, why not start him there? And it would solidify up the midfield and probably release a little bit of pressure on Henderson.
Is that the only change that you would make to this team? Are there any ones that
I'd bring Rose in for Young. Not that Young had a bad game against Tunisia. He more than held his own. I just love balance in a side, and I'd love to see the width of Trippier and Rose together. You know, they've done it for Spurs all last year. I'd love to see that width and pace from Rose on that side, that left hand side.
I got it wrong with this one, because you don't like Young as a left back. You've watched him all season at Man United. I probably should have listened to you, but I thought it might work. But for me, I don't think it worked at all.
It's not that I don't like Young as a left back. He's good at what he does, but it's going to be the problems that he faced against Tunisia was a deep line defence, and it's going to be worse against Panama. They're going to be deeper. So every time Young, and he always cuts back inside, he's never going to whip across him with his left foot. He cuts back, there's going to be 2 players on him. He's going to have to go back, they're going to play it across the back 3 to Trippier, who then is going to cross on his natural foot. Yeah. And then hopefully Harry Kane might score a header. But Young it's a safer option to start Young. He will have less defensive frailties than Rose, because Rose will be excited to go forward. No, Rose will be overlapping a lot more.
Just calm it down.
Well, that's not nonsense.
Well, I guess if he's overlapping more, he's got further to get back. And I think he's got more. Last one, Rashford or Sterling?
I don't think you can. It will be a massive risk to drop Sterling because of the repercussions of what could happen to Sterling. by kicking him out of the team after one.
Yeah,
I didn't think he played that badly. Like Lingard and Sterling, neither of them scored, but their movement was great off the ball. They had a lot of chances. Yes, they should have buried them, but we still won 2-1. So let's not concentrate on the negatives too much.
We're going to
keep
need
him in there.
We need players like of Sterling's quality in the latter rounds if we get that far, or when we get that far.
Because
we're going to win it, obviously. But you know, it's that quality you need. And all right, he had a bad game. I thought he had a bad game, but his movement was good and he enabled other players to play. Keep him in. It will come good. You don't turn into a bad player. I know it's a cliche. You don't turn into a bad player just by leaving the Man City camp.
So that's what we think about the England lineup for this game. But what about Panama? We know a little bit more about them now, having watched them against Belgium. How do you think they did against Belgium? 3-0, but that didn't really tell the whole story.
No, it didn't. I mean, it was probably a fair result in the end. But Panama are essentially made up of grit, of determination. They're working together as a unit, and that's what got them to the World Cup. You know, they don't have the stars of Belgium, of England, and they have to make up for that in another way. The problem with their squad is that it's getting old. There's a lot of old heads in there, and towards the end of the game against Belgium, they started to tire, and that's where Belgium's class started to win out, and that's a problem they're going to have to face against England as well.
The fact they kept it 0-0 for 60 minutes and then ended up losing 3-0, it kind of suggests that they did wilt a little bit. But the goals that Belgium scored were decent, weren't they?
That's the thing, I suppose, that worries me about England playing Panama, is that the reason they lost was not because they made mistakes. Mertens scored an absolute screamer.
Yeah,
it's up there for goal of the tournament so far. Then Lukaku scored a header after De Bruyne just curled in a wonderful cross on the outside of his boot. They didn't collapse. It's just that the moments of quality came through from Belgium's team, which is what England have to do. We did win against Tunisia, but it was almost like a grit and determination. From two set pieces, we scored goals. So England against Panama, we're going to need, if Dele Alli's not playing, we need Sterling to really pull out some moments of magic. We can't rely on Harry Kane up front to just score, because Belgium, Hazard had a go at Lukaku, said, "You're hiding up front. You need to come back and start playing with us." When he did that, Panama couldn't cope. They scored, ended up winning 3-0, and that's when the quality really came through and they did start to wane.
I don't think this requires a moment of magic, like a wonder strike. I think we'll have enough about us in order to break them down, although it will be difficult. I think people thinking we'll go into Panama and steamroller them will be in for a frustrating evening.
Yeah. The players themselves, who are the players that we should be looking out for? Everyone talks about Roman Torres, the centre-back who scored the winner that got them to the World Cup, but there's a couple of other players who are going to have epic games for them to get anything from.
I mean, the obvious ones are goalkeepers. So Pinedo, 36-year-old, you're talking about established players, but goalkeepers tend to age pretty well. And he's always had the dream of playing at the World Cup for Panama. He has played at the World Cup for Panama and conceded 3 goals his first game. But it wasn't the Panama goalkeeper who made any mistakes against Belgium, so we need our finishing to be on point. I'm
going to see your 36-year-old and I'm going to raise your 37-year-old. Flav Perez, who's... he did a lot of running for a 37-year-old, which is impressive. Scored a lot of goals throughout his career. I think he's had 19-odd clubs, 15 goals though in Peru, Municipal, I think it's called. If they're not going to get many chances, but if they do, he started the game against Belgium. He'll probably start this one, and if he does, then he's the guy who's going to need to take the chance for them. But it's the whole squad's important, isn't it? Because they're going to run out.
Well, yeah, and they're going to run out of steam, and you know, around the 65 minute mark, you might see a substitution being made, and they've got their star player essentially, who has been over the last 10 years or so for them, Tejeda. Who can come off the bench and score goals. He's got 45 goals in 105 games for Panama, and it's, you know, more or less that's 1 in 2. So, you know, this guy's no mug. He's hard-working, is industrious. He's also 36. He's also said some comments come out in the press actually against England, saying, you know, these guys can't bring their money onto the pitch. You know, Panama are the lowest paid team in there. The coach is on the least wages out of any other nation, and they're using that as motivation. So look, he's up for it, and coming off the bench full of fire, he may cause problems, but if we're being honest, we're scraping the barrel with it.
Wow.
I mean, I'll say it on camera now.
We should not be losing.
We should not be losing when their 3 most important players are 36, 36 and 37.
Yeah, that's a fair point.
That is going to bite me in the arse.
Yeah, it could do. That leads us perfectly to score predictions.
4-0 England.
Oh, bosh. Which ends
3-0. You were saying that we shouldn't go in thinking we're going to steamroll.
No, I'm
going
changing my mind.
We're England. We're going to win it. So 3-0, we're going to win it.
Yeah, I'm going to go. It's never easy, is it? So I think it might be a sort of tentative 2-0. So if you've been watching the tournament, you might have seen the co-op ad where they harness their superstitions. The fella goes outside and then they all go outside because it means that they score the penalty. We thought we'd kind of get you guys involved in this, so we asked you, what are your superstitions? This is what you guys said, some really good comments. And so what I want you guys to do actually is, now we've got the win, what did you do differently against Tunisia?
Really think about it.
Really think about it.
Really.
Because this is important. This is crucial.
Yeah.
I got the pizzas, so that's my one, right? Yeah. But other people, they said their superstitions. Isaac Jacobs, he downs an entire bottle of water before a game.
Drink responsibly.
It's about concentration and hydration, which I'm impressed with that. I like that one. This is my favourite one. Josh Reynolds, whenever the opposing team has a threatening attack, I have to say out loud what the score would be if they scored. For example, at 0-0, I would say 1-0. It works especially for free kicks and corners. It has to be timed perfectly, though. Too soon and it doesn't work. If I ever forget to say it, the other team scores 100% of the time.
That's incredible.
The superstitions, it's not just here on this show or you guys at home. The World Cup, it's happening even for the GOAT himself, supposedly. Ronaldo's even tucking into a little superstition.
With a goatee. So the story goes that he was shaving his face before
Good. Which you have to clarify when it's Ronaldo. He could be shaving anything.
I don't even know if he grows. Anyway, he was having a chat with Quaresma beforehand, and he left his goatee. I think they were mucking about. It was a bit of hijinks, you know what I mean?
Shaving banter,
yeah, gets morale up, shaving banter. Yeah. And he said, oh, maybe I'll leave this. If I score a goal, I'll keep it. And he scored 3 against Spain.
And he did, didn't he? He did that celebration afterwards.
Letting everyone in. That's the kind of guy he is.
Lovely, yeah. Very kind-hearted man. So that is a superstition, but what you might remember from the last preview is Sam doesn't have a superstition because, you know, you're miserable.
He's a very simple man, isn't he?
I mean, miserable.
Miserable. Get down the loop.
Miserable and simple. I mean, come on, guys.
So we need a superstition for you. There was a few there. Drink down a bottle of water. Fancy that?
No.
No?
No.
What have you been doing?
I've actually got a superstition.
Good.
Have you?
Yeah, you encouraged me and I got one.
What did you do?
Well, it's pizza related.
Good.
Yeah.
So we've been up.
I mean, well, before the Tunisia game, I ate pizza.
Cool.
Right, that's not a superstition. You should be eating pizza.
Well, in 2 minutes.
In 2 minutes?
Yeah.
You can't do it in 2 minutes.
Well, I can. Well, I'm not going to look at them. They're beautiful. I can't
eat the pizza.
No.
So anyway, you said it. You said that you can eat an entire pizza in 2 minutes before a game.
Yeah, I can.
Well, show the audience.
I did.
Let's do it.
Look, have you done one yet for the England game?
What, for Panama?
Yeah.
No, not yet.
Ready?
Well, now.
2 minutes on the
clock.
clock.
Let's do it.
So give me phone ready. Ready?
Sure you want to say this?
Get yourself ready. Get yourself geared up. Let's go.
I might have a piece in the hand.
It does look lovely.
Right, ready? 2 minutes on the clock.
Are you ready?
No chance. Go.
Good.
Come on.
Is that good?
You're gonna have to get cooking that, mate.
You've got another 5 pieces to eat.
It's all right, it's good.
Calm. You alright, mate? You okay? That's rubbish, isn't it?
What?
I lied.
Have you ever done that before?
You lied?
I don't have a superstition. I just felt left out. I couldn't.
Yeah, we don't.
Can't do that.
You had 2 pieces of pizza.
That was remarkably slow.
I like eating my food slow. It fills you up better.
Somber end to preview. I mean, we hope you enjoyed it, but look, hashtag superstition for Sam.
Yeah,
well, guys, he's hurting himself.
Let's do something you can actually do and not even have to make up lies about
happy
eating
for it to be
pizza
pizza
quickly.
related, but maybe not time related because
Well, I feel like if the superstition gods are looking down, they're looking down. They're going to smite Sam.
They've
just smited
and with it, England.
They've just smited me.
Think about what you've done. No more from you. That's it.
Less
from you.
We've got a superstition for Sam. Let us know in the comments below.
Sorry.
That was the big match preview, fueled by Co-op. Go and check out that deal. Information is in the description. If you like the video, click like, let us know your score predictions, subscribe to Ball Street, and we'll see you soon.